Super Bowl matchup. The New England Patriots will be taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Santa Clara in about 2 weeks. Patriots beat the Broncos 10-7 yesterday. In the afternoon, the Seahawks topped the Rams 31-27. Early line on that game, Seahawks open as 3.5-point favorites, have been bet up to 4.5. And the Lake Show are back tonight, taking on the Bulls in Chicago. Game will be at 5 o'clock. Lakers are currently 1.5-point road favorites in that one. Taco Bell's new Lux Value menu has 10 indulgences for $3 or less, from the opulent new mini taco salad to the decadent beefy potato loaded griller. That much Lux could have you expecting a modern tea at the drive-thru at participating Taco Bells while supplies last. Price of participation may vary. Tax extra.
Welcome to the Fletch Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
It's down to 2 in the chase for the Lombardi.
The Patriots will spill off their sideline in the snow in a celebration a mile high. They are headed to Santa Clara in 2 weeks. It's Super Bowl 60. Puka Nacua slides out of bounds. No! Clock keeps moving. Nacua, Seahawks win, and the Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
Patriots versus Seahawks in Santa Clara. It's gotta sting a bit, right, Fletch? The Aztecs leave Vegas a little richer.
Stepping back, his three-point jumper in the air is good. Taj extends the lead to double figures.
And the Lakers steal one from the Mavericks. And a look back at how Sammy measured up.
Sean O'Malley, more than 79.5 significant strikes.
I was going to ask you, are you sure about that?
Patty Pimblett, more than 2.5 total rounds.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
Why not?
Sure.
Evan Ingram, tight end for the Denver Broncos, more than 19.5 receiving yards.
So close I can taste it.
And Sam Darnold, more than 30 passing attempts.
There we are.
Now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, we get the week started inside the Fletch Zone.
Yeah, let's get it going on Monday. What's happening, everybody? Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer will take over. Then we have a busy show for you. NFC, AFC championships are in the book. We have our Super Bowl matchup set for 2 weeks from yesterday. We got news out of the Padres world. We got a great game to break down from the San Diego State Aztecs. We have a former San Diego Charger taking his name out of a head coaching race. We have a ton to get to on the show today, and that leaves me with one question and one question only. Sammy Long, are you ready to have a great freaking show?
I'm really ready to have a great show, especially considering that a former San Francisco 49er quarterback will now be playing in the Super Bowl. It brings almost a tear to my eye. I think there's a lot to get into today from a multitude of perspectives. Shout out to the Seattle Seahawks for seeing the value in Sam Darnold and not just icing him on the bench. I am stoked to have a great day, Fletch. What about you?
I was kind of saying that, expecting you to say, yeah, Fletch, I'm ready to have a great show. And then you just had to start being mean and hurtful and rude. And I don't know if I like that very much, but I'm ready to have a great show. So let's party on a Monday, everybody. Yes, we will start with that NFC championship game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. I thought it was a phenomenal game, man. I thought both those quarterbacks, Sam Darnold and Matthew Stafford, absolutely showed out. That is a game where you're like, this is what a championship game is both supposed to look like. The NFC came down to the two best rosters in football, in my opinion, and two of the better quarterbacks this season in football, in my opinion. And they went head to head. They dueled it out, man. Every time Seattle looked like they were running away with it, Matthew Stafford and this excellent receiving core from the Rams with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua found a way to fight back into this game. And yeah, there was a couple of self-inflicted wounds on this game, one by each team. You had the muff punt from the Rams and the Tariq Woolen nonsense on the sideline. And both of those ended up in immediate touchdowns afterwards for the opposite team. But you look through all of that and look at the performance that we just got from those two quarterbacks, and it feels a little familiar, doesn't it? It feels like some of the AFC championship games we've seen in recent memory, but it was over on the NFC side. That was about as much fun as I've had watching a football game this year. If you take out the fact that I can't stand either of those two teams, those two quarterbacks put on an absolute show for us, and I do have a feeling that might have been the Super Bowl that we watched last night, which is a little bit of a letdown. But Sammy, that game was fantastic.
It was unbelievable. We always kind of deem matchups early in the year when they played both times, the first two times, and Darnold threw a bunch of interceptions the first game. They lost, and then the Seahawks come back and win in overtime in Seattle in December. Everyone kind of bills games, whether it's in the AFC or the NFC, as though that's going to be the NFC AFC championship game. It doesn't always happen. A lot of times someone gets caught. But so what you just said, they did feel like the two best teams in football. They've been the two most complete teams in football all throughout the season. It was an excellent matchup, and you see what happens. Like in games where the talent is so even, it comes down to special teams and fourth downs. And if Xavier Smith doesn't drop that punt, maybe the Rams play in the Super Bowl. And you get to that fourth and 4, 4th and 5. Shout out to Matthew Stafford for the fourth down before picking it up with his legs. But I think we've seen a change, and this is not Matthew Stafford. Obviously, is an unbelievable player, but that play in and of itself, it was 4th and 4 late in the game, is why not having a running quarterback is just, you just can't do it anymore. And it's not an indictment on Matthew Stafford. It's exceptional that he's able to play at this high of a level as kind of a statue quarterback. But that's a prime example where Mahomes, Allen, Lamar are just taking off and running and getting that. And you saw the Seahawks drop back and play a zone, and you couldn't do that. If you were playing any quarterback with some mobility, you just couldn't sit and play a zone there because they would have cooked you.
And to that point, there was a 3rd and 6 late in the game in that Broncos-Patriots game, and Drake May said, yeah, I don't know if I like the play call, so he faked the handoff and ran it. And that was a own call. After the game, we learned about that. All right, so let's start with Sam Darnold here, if we're being very honest, because a lot of people doubted Sam Darnold coming into this game. I'd be honest and say I doubted Sam Darnold a little bit coming into this game. But the Seahawks were in a situation where Zach Charbonnet was hurt, and you saw the impact of it. Zach Charbonnet is the between the tackles runner of the two running backs. Did Kenneth Walker have much success on the ground? Absolutely not. I think it was about a 12% success rate on the ground for the Seahawks in yesterday's game. Kenneth Walker still ended up with over 100 scrimmage yards. And that was because he was getting it done in the passing game. This game ended up solely on Sam Darnold's shoulders. And if you watched a lot of Seahawks football this year, a lot of it was predicated on run and then play action. And that's where he found a lot of success. That really wasn't an option for the Seahawks yesterday because the Rams did an excellent job stopping the run. So what it turned to was, well, Sam Darnold, you're going to have to figure it out. And he did, with Jackson Smith and Jigba playing the game of his life. He was incredible yesterday. With Kenneth Walker out of the backfield, who, again, got over 100 yards, even though he was averaging like 2-something per carry. And it was Sam Darnold who was fitting the ball into tight holes. It was Sam Darnold who figured it out the entire way. He deserves a ton of credit leaving that game, and I know he's getting it today. But I see headlines on ESPN all day. Has the narrative around Sam Darnold changed? Abso-freaking-lutely. The narrative on Sam Darnold has changed. He's gone back-to-back seasons with 14 wins. He's in the Super Bowl as a favorite in year 2 with this kind of rebirth era of Sam Darnold. He is trending towards being maybe the top quarterback of the NFC at this point. If Sam Darnold decides to step away from the game, everything about Sam Darnold has changed.
Well, yeah, again, this is just first impressions. It's obviously the narrative. Sam Darnold's proved everyone wrong. He went to a Super Bowl. He was the top seed in the NFC, took out 2 divisional rivals on his way there, won every big game the Seahawks played this season so far. And we all remember Minnesota, him choking in that. But like, let's remember the franchises he played before this, the Panthers and the Jets. Can you name 2 worst franchises in the NFL outside the Browns? I mean, that's horrible franchise that had no idea what they were doing, putting a team around Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has completely proven. And right, not having Charbonnet, and Kenneth Walker he had a good game at the end because they kind of milked some yardage at the end when they were trying to run the clock out. Darnold was the reason they won that game. There's no ifs and buts about it. He was fantastic. They didn't win even after the Niner game the week before. They beat the Niners so bad. It was like, well, he didn't really have to make any big throws. He made big throw after big throw in that game. And Sam Darnold deserves all the credit in the world. It's crazy to think that of the draft class of Lamar, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and him, he's the first quarterback and only quarterback to have played in a Super Bowl. So crazy. Good on Sam Darnold. Happy to see a SC quarterback starting in the Super Bowl, and good for him for proving everyone wrong.
346 passing yards, 3 touchdowns for Darnold in the NFC Championship game. And then right after the game, he gets his hands on the NFC Championship trophy, and if you watch, the very first thing he did was hand it right over to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Very good look for Sam Darnold. All right, let's get to the big 3 here of hour number 1, where Sammy rips through the top stories in the world of sports. So we'll get to the AFC Championship game on the other side, by the way. Sammy, smash that button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. Big 3.
There is some Yu Darvish news, by the way, and we will get to that coming up on the show today. We just got too big of a rundown for today. If you want to watch the show, you can do so in a couple ways: on YouTube at San Diego Sports 760, on X at Fletch and Sammy. You can find us in both those places. We'd love to hear from you. in the comment section on YouTube and, of course, on our text line, 70470. Start your message with the word team. Sammy, where would you like to start?
Was yesterday about the Patriots being good or the Broncos being bad?
It's a great question. It's one I thought about a lot over the last 24 hours. And I am going to say this was a very poorly coached game by Sean Payton, excuse me. And the weather had a pretty big impact, if we're being completely honest. Like, that game was going one way. It felt like it was in Denver's favor at the beginning. New England didn't do anything overall special in that game. And then the weather hit, and decision-making went down by both head coaches, I thought. And yes, yesterday was about New England being just bad, or Denver being just bad enough for New England to go ahead and get the win.
I thought yesterday, which is surprising because Vrabel and Payton have been perennially, over their 10 years, great head coaches, was a horribly coached game on both sides. And Mike Vrabel, they deserve credit because they won the game, and May called the play for himself on 3rd and 6. The offense was terrible. I mean, he went 85 yards passing. Drake May got it done with his legs. But Sean Payton, people are going to point to, oh, Stidham sucks, Stidham this. Stidham on the first drive of the game completed a 52-yard pass to Marvin Mims. And then all of a sudden, he wouldn't let him throw the ball.
Touchdown pass was a dime too.
It's like, if you're going to go down swinging, go down with Stidham throwing 4 picks and giving you an opportunity to win. And they kept showing the stat. Like, Stidham was 4 for 12 when pressured on dropbacks during the game. Well, yeah, because Sean Payton every time would run the ball on first down, try either a run or a screen on second down, and then it'd be 3rd and 8. New England knew it, and they'd be going after Stidham, completely blitzing him. He did not put Stidham in any position to win whatsoever. I thought the first drive of the game, they were going to open this thing up. And then obviously revisionist history, but you go to the 4th and 1, you're up 7. New England's offense hasn't done anything. You're in position to just kick a field goal, knowing the weather is going to get worse as the game went on. Just take whatever points you can, and then you decide to do a boot rollout. I thought Sean Payton coached a terrible game. And honestly, I think he deserves criticism because that game was completely there for the taking. New England didn't even do that much to instill, like, hey, we're the AFC champs.
We'll get more into the AFC championship game coming up in a few minutes here, but I agree. Neither side looked good coming out of that one. That's kind of why I felt like that NFC championship game was the Super Bowl, because if we see that kind of coaching against the Seahawks are going to kick the crap out of whoever they were playing between those two teams. What's next, Sammy?
Was this the last chance for the Rams to get to the Super Bowl?
You know, I don't necessarily think so. There's a lot of that going on today, and we'll see if Matthew Stafford makes some sort of decision. But they got a pretty damn good young roster, man. That defense, a lot of them controllable, a lot of them young. I think they've done an excellent job on the draft, which when you think about how few first-round picks they've had over the last few years, it's really impressive what Les Snead and Sean McVay have been able to do, especially on the defensive side of the football. And offensively, Devontae Adams was a huge part of this team. I don't know how many years Devontae Adams has left, but yesterday he kind of looked like one of the top 3 wide receivers in football once again. And that was impressive to see. But Puka's young. They got the tight end Parkinson's young. Like, I'm looking at the Rams as they still have the roster in place, but if Stafford's not there next year, then yeah, if you're trying to rebuild around a young quarterback, yeah, this is probably your last best chance. But if Stafford's there, they have every ounce of possibility of being right back here in a year from now.
I agree. I think next year the Rams will certainly be a Super Bowl favorite, opening up as the team. Byron Young, Jared Verse aren't going anywhere. Brandon Fisk, that's a really good young pass rush. Kobe Durant at the corner spots, and Lake, the safety. Like, the whole defense is really young and only going to get better. The offense is a great blend of young talent, Puka and Kyron, and then Devontae and Stafford. Right, it's kind of up to Stafford. Obviously, if Stafford's not coming back, then the answer is no. The one problem for the Rams, though, I would say is, you're in a tough division. The Seahawks might win a Super Bowl. The Niners are going to get healthy. And then you're looking at Caleb Williams and the Bears have experience. The Commanders coming back into the picture, and Jane Daniels. Like, the NFC has a lot of really young talent with it. So I don't think it's just an easy coast to the Super Bowl. Like, it feels like for the last 5, 6, 7 years, it was really Philly or San Francisco who was a tier above everyone. And you didn't really feel like too many teams could really compete with that.
Everyone else is caught up.
And I think that the NFC, whereas the AFC has always been kind of thought of as a gauntlet, the NFC maybe just like that and even more. All right, third story. This kind of got buried on Saturday. Mike McCarthy on his way to the Pittsburgh Steelers as the next head coach. Do you like the hire? What is your reaction to Mike McCarthy getting a job going to Pittsburgh.
Brent and I laughed about this for probably 45 minutes on Saturday when we were getting ready for the Aztecs game. It's a bizarre hire, but I do look around at the coaching landscape right now, and I'm kind of like, well, who else are they going to hire? It does feel pretty barren when you look out there. Like there's Cliff Kingsbury still floating around. Mike McDaniel got officially announced and signed this morning with the Chargers, so I think that door is closed. I don't know if he can take another job. So you look around and you realize it's pretty barren. But like the funny part about this is Aaron Rodgers got Mike McCarthy fired. Aaron Rodgers could potentially be back with the Steelers next year. Is this a reunion? Is that what they're trying to do? It is a bit of a head scratcher. And now you remember the last time Mike McCarthy took a break from coaching, and before he signed the Dallas job, he said, I'm reinventing the way offense is thought of in the NFL. I'm going to get back out there with my next gig, and it's going to be a run of dominance because I've thought of a new offense. He did nothing with Dallas. So I don't know why we're expecting anything to go differently this time around, but maybe Mike McCarthy has spent the last year and a half in his basement just planning out how he's going to come take the NFL by storm. I'd be curious to hear from some of our Steeler fans who listen on a daily basis. So we got Jamar in here. Jamar, what do you think about this hire?
Well, text says anyone 70470, start your message with team, anything on what we're talking about, Mike McCarthy and the Steelers. I don't like this at all. It felt like a desperation hire. The pool was thinning. Harbaugh was obviously the big prize, and that he went to New York. Stefanski, all these guys.
Jesse Minter would have been a nice fit in Pittsburgh.
Minter got picked up. So you go with Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy looks even worse now because look at for whatever you want to say about the Dallas Cowboys and Brian Schottenheimer, the offense was lethal this year, and it was a great offense. And although I know McCarthy, Dak got hurt the year before, but he never reached those heights offensively with what they were able to do. So I don't see this at all. You're just recycling old head coaches that have hardware. If that's the case, I would have kept Mike Tomlin. I don't understand why going to Mike McCarthy. Right, go with Minter. Brian Flores signed back with the Vikings, but was open to taking the Pittsburgh Steelers job. Brian Flores kind of built the Miami team for McDaniel to try to take it to the playoffs. I think this is just a whatever hire. It gets headlines, but I feel like, again, the pool's thinning. And if you're the Bills and if you're the Raiders and the Browns, I think you're kind of left with the scraps because all the good head coaches and coordinators are taken.
By the way, what the hell is going on with the Cleveland Browns? Like people are just dropping out of that race because they're making coaches do homework. They're
making them write essays.
It's what are you, Cleveland?
It's like, Cleveland, what have you ever done to demand people to write essays about why they should be your head coach?
That's what I'm saying. It's like if it was a great turnkey job like the Baltimore Ravens, I can understand it being a pretty rigorous process. But the Cleveland Browns, no, you need to be begging people to come be your head coach.
I think there's also been a change of people go, wait, I don't want to just go to any NFL head coaching opening, get fired after a year. I'm waiting. Like Mike McDaniel could have had any of these jobs, a lot of these jobs. He's like, I'm going to up my stock with the Chargers, have a great offense, and then pick where I want to go next year. It's a different mindset change we've seen in the NFL recently.
All right, we got a couple of reactions to Mike McCarthy between the text line and YouTube. We'll get them on the other side. They're not positive ones from our Steelers fans who are listening, believe it or not. Also, coming up next, the AFC Championship game. We got a little bit into it there, but let's talk about some of these coaching woes that happened between Denver and New England in an absolute blizzardous second half. That was crazy. It's San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey, San Diego Sports 760. We got 13 chances for you to win $1,000 every single weekday with the Bonus Bucks giveaway every hour from 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for your keyword, enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 1 o'clock. All right, some quick text reaction here from the 619. I'm a Steelers fan and I hate the hire of Mike McCarthy. It seems lazy to me. Tomlin had his flaws and I think it was time for him to go, but I think they hired a guy that's not as good a coach as Mike Tomlin. I don't know what they're doing. Are they trying to retain Aaron Rodgers? Because I don't like that either. I wanted them to go after Sam Darnold last offseason. They didn't. It's official. The Steelers are not the Steelers anymore.
That's a great text by 619, not only because I agree, but also the Sam Darnold angle. How interesting is it that all these teams, like I was giving your boys crap, but all these teams like Minnesota, the Niners, the Steelers, all these teams could have had him. The Jets and Panthers did have him and didn't see enough value in him, could have signed him. And it feels like we're seeing repercussions around the league for every team that didn't get Sam Darnold. And what's going to happen in Minnesota in a year?
Yeah.
Minnesota, JJ McCarthy, is he the answer? Like, but I'm with you. I don't get do you want Aaron Rodgers back? Because it doesn't feel like this is a team that is gearing up for a Super Bowl run next year. It feels like a lot of the same. They're probably hanging around a winning record, maybe a playoff spot. I feel like it's time for a rebuild. Mike McCarthy doesn't feel like a rebuild head coach to me.
Remember when Aaron Rodgers went to the Jets and like there was that weird rumor about Nathaniel Hackett who just had that disaster with Denver, and then all of a sudden Nathaniel Hackett's on the front door of the Jets and he's the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Like I do wonder if Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, if you want me to come back, bring back Mike. And they're like, didn't you get Mike fired? He's like, yeah, but bring back Mike.
But to that point, if that's what happened, and it could be very well what happened, why are you listening to Aaron Rodgers?
I don't know.
Like, he's 42 years old. He's not the franchise quarterback moving forward. Why does he have this much sway with the franchise?
I don't know, man. Jamar texts or on YouTube saying the only hope for McCarthy is that he can develop Will Howard and whatever other quarterbacks we bring in for the draft in 2027. But this hire makes me sick.
To Jamar's point, so you're saying you want Mike McCarthy developing quarterbacks? You want him, or is this a Pete Carroll situation where the Raiders basically knew they were going to suck, get a big time pick next year, and then he's kind of the lame duck head coach, and you're going to get a new big time hire next year coming in to develop the QB? Because right now, unless you're taking Ty Simpson from Alabama, the Steelers really aren't in a position with Dante Moore going back to college to land a big time quarterback moving forward.
And 913, we all wish both McCarthy and Rodgers would just do a permanent darkness retreat out of the NFL. Good call, 913.
Yes.
619, oh yeah, Quacked On Padres here. My Hawks are Super Bowl bound.
Congrats to Quacked On and our own Stan Lazinski. They're going to the Super Bowl.
They're going to the Super Bowl. I gave them all the credit in the world. It makes me sick, but the Seahawks get a ton of credit. I
have a question for you.
Go.
I know you hate both the Rams and the Seahawks because you're a Niner fan. Just I can't root for Denver. I'm a Chiefs fan. I hate the Denver Broncos. But were you rooting for the Rams because you didn't want the Sam Darnold storyline with San Francisco to be a thing?
No. I don't care about that. If I'm being completely honest, I'm very secure in who our quarterback is for the future. I'm happy for Sam Darnold that he on his resume can say what fixed him was Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers.
That's what we're going with. Okay.
Which is ironic when you think about it. And I'm very happy that Brock Purdy's the quarterback. No, I didn't care about that. I just can't stand the Seahawks. So that is why. Well, not why. I also had money going on the Rams. I was rich if the Rams won that game, Sammy. I had a parlay going.
I had a tough day gambling yesterday.
Dude, my first 3 legs of the parlay smashed because I had Denver plus 4.5 and the under in that game. And then Rams money line in the over in that game. It hit over by like the third quarter. So we were good to go there.
Xavier Smith, dude.
Yeah. And then the freaking Rams lost. So I'm no longer rich, but I was going to be rich. It's one of those situations where there was no win for me, Rams Seahawks. So I just grit my teeth and bear it and was hoping for a great game. And we got a great game. Wait for the revenge tour coming back next year. Super Bowl, Chiefs, Niners. Let's go.
I'm fine with that. We can run Chiefs, Niners back in trilogy.
Speaking of like everyone talking about the Rams muff punt. What was his name? Smith. What's his first name?
Xavier Smith.
Xavier Smith, who muffed the punt yesterday. They're like, oh, is this the worst muff punt in playoff history? I'm like, do we not remember like 5 years ago when the Niners muffed a punt against the Chiefs? That happened too, and that was in the Super Bowl.
Then then MVS hit the touchdown the next play.
Sheesh. Yes. So we all have very short.
But it was
memories.
like you do see in these big games, like in all seriousness,
special teams. Denver missed a field goal at the end of the first half.
People don't think about special teams. They're like, well, that's kind of an afterthought. You're thinking about the offense and defensive matchups, and then always in big games, it always happens who has the better special teams. And usually teams that win Super Bowls have some nails kicker.
By the way, Josh Allen, are we all forgetting the Tyler Bass field goal? When was that? Was that 2 years ago now? 3 years ago?
3 years ago.
3 years ago now. Tyler Bass missed the field goal wide right.
Mm-hmm.
That Bills team could have won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's special teams is what it comes down to a lot of the time. And yesterday it certainly did in both games. We didn't really talk about the AFC Championship game yet. I would like to get to it because there's a ton of storylines coming out of it. Let's do that on the other side. A great text from the 619 that we got to get to. That's next. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport's sponsored by Dairy Queen. Patriots, Seahawks heading to the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Seattle open as 3.5-point favorites. Point total open at 45.5. Line is quickly moving to Seattle, favored by 4.5. And the Lake Show are back tonight in Chicago, taking on the Bulls. Lakers coming off a big time comeback in the fourth quarter against the Dallas Mavericks. On Saturday night, Lakers are currently 1.5 point favorites with the point total set at 235.5. That game is going at 5 o'clock in Chi-Town. Whoever said opponents opposites attract was definitely talking about the new spicy menu at DQ. Spicy flamethrower chicken strips served with a dip of sweet DQ soft serve. Sounds wrong, but tastes so good. The new spicy menu at DQ. Happy tastes good for a limited time at participating locations.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. If it's your first time joining the show, what up? We talk about sports and sports gambling, and we have a lot of fun while we do it. Text from the 913 here earlier today said, how was Valley View, gents? Well, Sammy stood me up, so that part's
No, I had a prior commitment to go to a UFC watch party with my friend's house. Otherwise, I would have come.
Open seat at our table when we were at Patties and Pints that just was like Sammy's seat, and it was empty the whole time.
I wanted to go. I didn't want to bail on my buddy.
However, that burger that I ate on Saturday night was unreal. I had the Austin burger, had caramel or fried onions on it. It was like a kind of a spin on the double Western bacon cheeseburger from Carl's Jr.
That sounds good.
Girl, that thing was delicious.
Did you make any money?
No, I lost gambling, but that happens. I did stack up a bunch of the entries into the Cash is King thing on January 31st.
Okay.
So I got some chances at some money down the road, but got my ass handed to me on the blackjack table.
It's the ebbs and flows of gambling.
Set back to the comeback,
right, right. You can't just listen. Not always going to be a successful adventure.
Also, I had Travis Dale sitting next to me at the blackjack table, and attitude is a big thing in gambling, right? Like I firmly believe that your attitude can somehow dictate what's going to happen to you on the night. And I'm generally a very positive guy when I go to the casino. Sammy, you've been around me. I'm thinking no matter where we go, we're winning something. That's how I try to go in the casino. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But Travis sitting next to me was like, dude, I just lost 15 hands on a hand of blackjack. I can't do this anymore.
See, if you're with people who like, I have friends who if they lose any money, it's a big deal. Like it's like hard for them, like psychologically to wrap their head around losing money. What did Vinny Chase say in Entourage? You have to summon the cards you desire. Okay. You cannot have the mindset of you're not going to win. Otherwise, especially if you're at a craps table. If you're at a craps table and the vibes aren't there, you can't. You got to take your chips somewhere else.
I agree. So don't go to the casino with Travis Dale is what I'm saying. But that food was unreal. Patties and Pints, that was one of the better burgers I've had in a long time. All right, AFC Championship game. The Denver Broncos fall to the New England Patriots, but very importantly, the Denver Broncos do cover the spread, which was nice for a lot of people.
And what is Al Michaels always say? It was important to some.
It was important to some, and it was important to me. But that was great to see. I guess that was a terrible game. What am I saying? It was great to see. That was a terrible football game. And the snow was cool. The way the teams handled it was awful. Let's talk about the coaching decisions in that game, though. So into the first half, Sean Payton goes down. Broncos move their way down the field. They were moving the ball pretty well in the first half. Jarrett Stidham looked okay at quarterback, but they get the ball down the field. They go for the field goal. They miss the field goal. How much did that influence not kicking the field goal later on?
Well, I think it had something to do with it. Right, it's obviously revisionist history. Both teams missed a lot of field goals, but my problem with Sean Payton is this. You knew the weather was going to get worse as the game went on.
Yep.
New England was doing nothing offensively. And if you would have scripted like, okay, you open with 7 points. Let's say he's probably making that kick. It was a pretty basic kick. You go up 10 points. You're at home. Your defense is playing lights out. Drake May cannot throw the football early in the game. You're putting pressure on them to make turnovers. And then they go for it, and you stop. All the momentum goes back to New England, and then your defense holds, and then Stidham coughs it up, and they get a basic touchdown.
Yeah, let's talk about that play for a second. What do you think about it? It got ruled initially a forward pass incompletion, and then they reviewed the tape, and it got called a turnover, but not a touchdown. So it was a turnover with the spot for New England, and then 2 plays later, it's a touchdown for New England. I don't know. Like, you talk to a Denver Broncos fan today, they're pissed at how that all ended up because, to be fair, I could kind of make the argument either way. I almost think it's a fumble more than anything else because it was kind of a push pass that got knocked out of his hands as it was being thrown.
Well, and it was behind the line.
Right. But no matter what, to me, I don't think that the call they ended up with was the correct call.
Like, you think it should have been Denver ball?
I thought it either should have been a touchdown or it should have been Denver's ball.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy that, right. I thought New England should have scored a touchdown.
I thought so too.
I mean, if you're going to call it a turnover, they picked the ball up and ran it in. No one tackled them. So I hate that when refs get involved. It's a close play and then they rule it down by contact. Obviously, it didn't really affect the game because they ended up scoring later. But I just thought Sean Payton's game plan of like cradling Jarrett Stidham. I mean, Jarrett Stidham uncorks one 52 yards, great drive, then hits Cortland Sutton in the corner. You're like, oh wow, like Stidham was an understudy against Brady. He's been in the system for a long time. He looks good. And then he hamstrings him by running the ball on first and second down every time, not letting him throw the ball down the field. Everything was a screen pass on second down when they would throw the ball. And then it's 3rd and 8. And they're blitzing him the entire time, and the ball's has to come out of his hands fast, and the Denver receivers weren't really helping him out. I thought Sean Payton's game plan was awful. And if I'm New England, I mean, we were talking about this during this segment.
There's a text that actually sets this up. So let's get here. First of all, from the 619, Bo Nix wins that game and converts the 4th down with his feet 10 out of 10 times. I don't think there's any doubt if Bo Nix was the starting quarterback, they win because New England played so poorly.
I agree.
And Bo Nix, the week before, he outdueled Josh Allen. Say whatever you want about Bo Nix. We watched it happen. Bo Nix outdueling Josh Allen in a bit of a shootout. This text from the 858. Does Fletch root for a division rival to win the Super Bowl, or does he root for the softest schedule in 26 years? Now, Sammy and I had this conversation over break. We were talking a lot about it because in this Super Bowl, I kind of feel like the NFC Championship game was the Super Bowl. I do think the Seahawks go and roll through, but I will be rooting for the Patriots. However, there's something to be said about the fact that New England, look at their run through the postseason. Man, they play against a broken Chargers team that also had a terrible game plan against them. Jim Harbaugh deserves to be reprimanded in a big way for how the Chargers decided to go out there and play that game. But they were a broken football team who dealt with more injuries than just about anybody not named the San Francisco 49ers or I guess the Kansas City Chiefs. And then you look forward and they play against the Houston Texans with one of the best defenses in the NFL. And Houston's quarterback gives you the ball 5 times in that game. So New England has had a little bit of a cupcake, to be honest, if we're getting to this point. And then you go to the AFC Championship game, and it's the first time since Roger Staubach that a dude who hasn't thrown a pass all year is playing quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Yeah, dude, New England has walked their way into a Super Bowl somehow without playing good football in any one of those games.
Well, the Chargers have no offensive line in that game. The Houston Texans didn't have Nico Collins going to the game. Their starting running back, Woody Marks, gets hurt in the game. Dalton Schultz, their starting tight end, gets hurt in the game. And their left tackle, gets hurt in the game.
And Stroud looked nervous.
And he had no one. To be fair to CJ Stroud, he had literally no one to throw the ball to. Like, there was not the Christian Kirk was the number one option. And with all due respect to Christian Kirk, that's a problem if you're going into a playoff game on the road. And Christian Kirk's your number one option. And then you play Denver with Stidham at quarterback, and you don't even have one legit touchdown drive. The only touchdown they had was on the turnover when they got the ball at the 10-yard line. So New England yesterday did not complete a goal-to-goal drive. They didn't have a drive of 70-plus yards. Look, I give them credit. They found a way to win the football game, and that's what matters in the playoffs. But if I'm a Patriot fan, I don't know how I feel about this team. And by the way, if they get rolled in the Super Bowl, which is a big question, listen, New England could go win a Super Bowl, and then this conversation is a moot point because they went and won the biggest game of the year and beat a really good Seattle team. If they get rolled, which a lot of people are kind of expecting to happen, are we talking about them as like not only fraud watch for being a perennial AFC contender, but making the playoffs? Because next year they're playing a first place schedule. They're not playing I believe they were in a 3rd place last year. They won 4 games, then they beat out the Jets. They're not playing a 3rd place schedule. They're playing a first place schedule. Mahomes, Burrow, and Lamar are all coming back. And you're looking at New England like you're not playing this stupid schedule that you play, the easiest schedule in 26 years. I don't know. If they get exposed in the Super Bowl, I think we're going to look at this Patriots team very differently than how we look at the rest of them.
Is anyone else a little confused why the line opened at 3.5 points?
Well, they want to drive action.
I mean, it immediately moved to 4.5, but that still seems pretty tiny for what we just saw this past week.
Right, but they don't want to open the bettors. The sportsbooks don't want to open it at like 7. So then they're super liable on a Patriots team where everyone can get a whole touchdown. They're going to let this thing go. It's going to get bet right up to a touchdown, and then all the late money is going to come back in on New England.
A little confusing to me, if I'm being honest. But yeah, if I think the bigger storyline is if Seattle loses this football game, how bad that would be, because that would be an implosion. Like Seattle, by every measure of the word, should win this game by 10 points, and at least. But if New England somehow goes in there and uses the pressure to their advantage, uses the defense, which has been really good. New England's defense is fantastic, but I'm just not convinced on the offense yet. If New England can go in there and win that game, the story becomes Sam Darnold once again, unfortunately.
Well, people are all focusing on Sam Darnold. Like, you mentioned this earlier on ESPN today, like First Take, they were talking about was, did Sam Darnold prove the doubters wrong? I think 100%. I mean, he got to Super Bowl. He's won 2 playoff games against two really good division rivals. I think 100% he proved all the doubters wrong. But are we not going to talk about this with Drake May? Listen, I get he's 3-0 as a playoff starter, and there's something to be said for that. Again, the playoffs is not always going to look pretty, and he's got a better record than Herbert. He's got a better record than Lamar.
Yeah, but context matters.
But context matters. So listen, 10 years from now, people are going to forget that Bo Nix wasn't playing in this game and that CJ Stroud's entire offense was hurt and the Chargers had the 32nd ranked offensive line in football. But context, to your point, matters. And are we not, if Drake May plays terrible in this game, are we over evaluating Drake May? Are we sitting here instead of crowning Drake May as the next it quarterback? I don't know that Drake May has earned that. Like, I honestly would have more faith that the Broncos would get back to this spot next year than the Patriots would.
If the Texans, or not the Texans, excuse me, if the Jacksonville Jaguars played New England's schedule in the postseason, the Jacksonville Jaguars would be in the Super Bowl right now. Do you know who's never been to a Super Bowl once in their organization's history? The Jacksonville Jaguars. It's the thing. Getting to a Super Bowl is supposed to be a very, very hard thing to do. I don't think New England's had it that hard. You think about teams, the Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, and Jags have never been to a Super Bowl before. And somehow New England just walked into a Super Bowl.
Well,
and got lucky every step of the way.
All the years with Brady, and it's not taking anything away from Brady and Belichick, but you played, the Bills were terrible. Yep. The Jets were terrible. And Miami was decent. They lose in Miami once a year. But I mean, that you're easily, New England during those years would always go 5-1. Or 6-0. Now, obviously, you have the Bills in the division now, but the Jets are bad. Miami's going through a rebuild. So you're not sitting here in a division where, like, the Seattle gets a lot of credit. Seattle's playing in a brutal division, whereas the AFC East is nowhere near that.
Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to put an asterisk on the Chiefs dynasty because they were playing in the soft-ass AFC.
Oh, really?
It's easy to get to a Super Bowl.
Because the Broncos, Chargers really suck, right?
It's easy to get to a Super Bowl. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I could hear that, except when the Chiefs actually close the deal, unlike other teams.
It's easy for the Chiefs to do everything they've done so far.
I'm so excited for football next year.
Yeah. Can we please fast forward? I don't like this Super Bowl matchup. I'm being completely honest. I don't like it, Sammy.
Oh my!
I'm going to make some wild parlays to make this game tolerable.
Watching Sam Darnold hoist a Lombardi trophy, and I hope you're glued to the TV to watch what could have been in a San Francisco 49er uniform.
Bad Bunny better freaking destroy the halftime show is all I'm saying. These commercials, the teasers we've been seeing out of Bud Light.
There's been some good teasers.
Yeah, man.
Danny McBride and Keegan Michael Key, the McConaughey one.
Dr. Pepper went and pulled the girl off TikTok who just ripped off the awesomest jingle of all time. We're going to need to see some bangers this Super Bowl because I don't think the game's going to be that good. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. Sammy, we need to make some money, please. We need to make some money. It was a rough weekend for a lot of us. So let's do it with long shots coming up next on San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. John Schaefer's going to take over then. We'll get to the Aztecs in hour number 2. We'll get to some Padres news in hour number 2. AJ Preller had an Eric Grupner had an interview. They released their promotional schedule, Sammy. Bobbleheads galore. Bobbleheads galore.
So when are they going to fill out the rotation?
Did you not just hear me, Sammy? Bobbleheads.
I'm not interested in bobbleheads. I'm interested in getting a 4th starter that can really eat up bulk innings during the middle of the season.
But they announced their bobblehead schedule. That's what we need to be worried about, Sammy, not the starting pitching rotation. Are you kidding me right now? It's all about the bobs. That's
it's frustrating at times, man. It's like you wish they'd put out press releases of, hey, we signed this guy or we're interested in this versus, hey, hat giveaway, silly hat day.
No,
the ballpark.
Bobbleheads. Manny Machado did a collab with McDonald's. You kidding me right now? We got Mason Miller with a sign on his bobblehead that says exceeds 104 miles per hour. You kidding me right now? Bobbleheads are sick, yo. All right, I'm going to make a declaration right now before we get to long shots. If I make this shot, I have a crumpled up paper cup in my hand. If I make this shot, long shots is a winner today. You good with that?
That's it. Are you going to make it?
Kobe Bryant. Splash.
Hey, that's what we love to hear.
Nothing but net. Sammy, smash it.
You gotta give me a second.
Oh, dude, there was momentum. We were riding. It was good.
Hold on. This is called stalling on the radio. 1, 2, 3.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance
Pay that man his money.
with long shots.
No, I will say, Sammy, the Australian Open's over, right? Tennis is done.
No, we're getting to the good stuff.
Oh, it's still going in the Australian Open.
No, now we're getting. So I was watching it last night. I was watching
because there's pro tennis in San Diego today at the Barnes Tennis Center. The San
There is?
Diego Open, yeah.
Who's playing?
I don't know.
Why weren't we invited?
That's what I'm saying. Cat Fisher's going this weekend, I guess.
Cat's going, and the premier tennis talking show in San Diego is not invited.
I'm sure we could be. We just didn't fill out the paperwork, which that's on me.
We don't need paperwork. They should have come to us. We have done more for tennis in the San Diego area than any other show in this city ever has.
By losing money on tennis the last couple of days?
Excuse me. My tennis record has been impeccable. I'm sorry that Carlos Alcaraz didn't want to come through on one of his opening round matches.
All right, well, I made the shot, Sammy. So today's guaranteed winner. Where are we going with it? You don't even have to try that hard. It's a guaranteed winner.
I have so many picks, like it's hard for me to whittle this down right now.
Let's whittle it down to 3.
No, we're going to do 4. We're going to do 4.
Take your favorite 3, and then your least favorite is the 4th, and people can decide what they want to do.
Okay, we have 2 basketball picks and 2 tennis picks. All right? Starting with basketball. Cedric Coward. People may not be familiar with this guy's name, but Memphis, really talented rookie out of Washington State. This guy has really kind of been taken on. He was a lottery pick, was kind of forgotten about. Obviously, the rookie class had your stars, your Cooper Flagg, your Con Knipples, your Dylan Harpers, a lot of guys with big names. Cedric Coward played at a small college in Washington State, been very good recently. John Morant being hurt, he's sidelined until after the trade deadline. That's going to tell you something. He's probably on his way out of Memphis. Cedric Coward, though, has kind of stepped up and been the primary scorer. They're taking on Houston tonight. More than 13.5 points for Cedric Coward. Look, I get Houston's defense can be very good at times. They're a very lengthy lineup, but Cedric Coward, because of his measurables, he's going to have to play a lot tonight with John Morant out. You want a lot of wings.
Looking for some
What is going on here? the computer glitched on me. The computer is trying to interrupt my long shot. It's ridiculous.
It's too bad Coward doesn't play for the Detroit Lions.
What?
He'd be the Cowardly Lion.
Are you going to interrupt long shots too? I'm trying to make people money here. You're talking about Cowardly Lions.
Go ahead. What's
Cedric Coward's more than 13.5 points. Going to get a lot of minutes tonight. He's got to be a big-time scorer for them to stay in this game. I think they do respond well if your job gets injured. All right, Anthony Edwards, more than 29.5 points. The Warriors in Timberwolves played last night. Now, Anthony Edwards had a fantastic game. He had 32 points, except the Timberwolves got beat 111-85 by the Golden State Warriors. I don't think that happens again tonight. I'm going over with Anthony Edwards again. Even on the second night of a back-to-back, Anthony Edwards is so critical for this team. The problem with Minnesota, they need a running mate. He does not have a running mate. Julius Randle's a very good player, but he's not the number 2 that he needs to get over the hump. That's why they're interested in trading for Chicago's Kobe White. Could Giannis potentially be on the way? John Morant they've been interested in. He needs a running mate. Until that happens, more than 32 points. The perimeter defense for the Golden State Warriors has not been the same this year. I think Minnesota gets a little get back tonight. More than 29.5 points for Anthony Edwards. All right, we're going down under. we're going to the Australian Open. We're getting the good stuff now. Okay, all the BS opening matches where they're playing nobodies is done. We're going Novak Djokovic and Lorenzo Musetti, more than 38 total games. Now, Novak is a great player, obviously one of the great tennis players of all time. Novak, though, he's getting up there in age. Every kind of major event, everyone's wondering when he's going to retire. Lorenzo Musetti, though, really good young Italian player, has been kind of running through the circuit. Took apart Francis Tiafoe in the U.S. Open last year. What really took apart in his last set was fantastic in his last match the other night. He is a really tricky player, and this is between two guys that are very about shot placement. Novak doesn't really pull away from anyone anymore because he doesn't have that power serve like he used to, but he's still such an elite tennis player. He can stay in these rallies. More than 38 total games. I think this goes to a fifth set. Going to be one of the barn burners. I believe it is the night session out there in Australia. It tells you what they think of how long this match is going to go.
It's all about shot placement.
It's all about shot placement at the Australian Open.
Mm-hmm.
And then my last pick. And Fletch is going to go, oh, no, I don't want that one. But it's going to hit.
That's what I'm going to say.
Carlos Alcaraz. More than 20.5.
Bro.
Total games won.
Bro.
He's playing Alex de Minaur.
Bro. He is blacklisted. We're done with Alcaraz.
He was never blacklisted. Carlos has won us a lot of money over the years. The U.S. Open was very friendly to us. His comeback against Yannick Sinner at the French Open, one of the most iconic tennis matches we've seen in decades. Carlos Alcaraz, Alex de Minaur, again, we're talking about shot placement. Very talented player. He has took apart some of the Americans. Completely took it to Francis Tiafoe the last week. Francis Tiafoe's career has been on a little bit of a downside recently. De Minaur, though, really talented player. He is the fan favorite in Australia. So this is going to be a big time matchup. He is Australian, but Carlos Alcaraz usually, now the reason Fletch is worried about my Carlos Alcaraz pick, he did not hit a week and a half ago.
No, it's terrible.
Except Carlos
playing with his food.
No, we're getting to the round of 16, the round of 8. This is where it steps up in competition. This is when the big dogs come out. Yannick Sinner was fantastic last night after actually struggling a little bit earlier on in the Australian Open. You see what happens when Sinner, Alcaraz get their stuff together. De Minaur is a really great tennis player, but he's not yet ready for the elite. Even in Australia, Carlos Alcaraz is going for that Grand Slam. He's never won at the Australian Open. He's won the U.S. Open multiple times. He's won Roland Garros, and he's won Wimbledon. He has never won the Australian Open. Yannick Sinner's the two-time defending champ. I think this one, more than 20.5 total games won for Carlos Alcaraz tonight. I think he gets it done and is very locked in after an inspired effort from Yannick Sinner yesterday.
If Alcaraz is the one leg of this that doesn't hit, is he blacklisted?
We'll deal with that. We'll deal with how he's blacklisted.
Can you remind me what the Novak Djokovic pick was?
I'm going to go through it all. Novak Djokovic, Lorenzo Musetti, more than 38 total games. That one's going to go to a fifth set. Carlos Alcaraz, we're just going on his side. More than 20.5 total games won. De Minaur is going to be able to push him a little bit, but Carlos is going to come out in the end. Anthony Edwards, more than 29.5 points against that Golden State defense. He had 32 last night. Fully expect him and the Timberwolves to get a W tonight. And Cedric Howard taking on the Houston Rockets, more than 13.5 points with no John Morant. Going to need him in for some elite scoring.
858 says this long shot is fire today. Though lots of O's on that.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out to the 858.
I mean, I made the shot, so this long shots is going to win no matter what. So Sammy didn't even have to try that hard. Could have just randomly keyboard smashed.
First off, guess what? We know Coward and Anthony Edwards are going to hit because my NBA picks, we all know are money.
Of course.
Then we're going to the Australian Open. We're going to watch some Aussie tennis late tonight. If you can't sleep, if something's on your mind, listen, just tune in the Australian Open. Watch Lorenzo Musetti take Novak to the fifth set, and we're all going to cash late tonight.
All right, ready for a 60-second Netflix review?
Yeah.
This is going to be lightning. Friday night, Netflix went live. They went live for Alex Honnold, who's the dude that free soloed El Cap, to free solo the Taipei building. I think it's in Taiwan. It's like a 7,200-foot skyscraper. If you want like your heart to beat in ways your heart's not supposed to beat, go watch the rebroadcast of this. It's amazing.
See, I didn't watch that because I was like, it's amazing.
Like this dude could have died. Probably easily could have died.
Right. He's not attached to anything, right?
No,
he's just like
free solo
climbing. See, that's like
he's looking at this building and says, I'm going to go climb that building. And then he climbs that building.
I think he needs a therapist. There's something
they've
about
done studies on his brain. They took scans of it. They took they like compared it with a normal person's brain. His like if he's shown a scary image where somebody will like their brain activity will fluff up a little bit, his doesn't.
Well, I'm sure because if you're free scaling buildings where you could just die, I'm sure he doesn't get scared out of a horror movie.
This dude is a maniac. And he was totally calm, cool. He did it in like an hour and a half. First of all, he was flying up this freaking building. Secondly, afterwards, he was like, that was sick. Like totally normal. Blood pressure did not increase at all.
What people will do for fame is
he didn't even make that much money on it.
Yeah, I know, it's fame.
He made like $500,000.
He had a bunch of people live watching on Netflix. That's the juice, the thrill enough he needs.
I cannot recommend this enough. If you are somebody who can get,
how long was it?
It was an hour and a half.
See, that's way too much.
A 7,200 foot building in an hour and a half.
That's some Tom Cruise type stuff.
Crazy. It's Tom Cruise wishes this was Tom Cruise type stuff.
Don't disrespect TC. He was on the side of that building in Dubai, Mission Impossible 4.
You know how much I love Tom Cruise, but this was something else entirely. We've never seen anything like it. In terms of athletic achievements, this dude is near the top. You know how many people die with ropes trying to climb El Cap every year? A lot. This dude did it without ropes.
We should have got some odds on that. Were they taking odds on
he dies? Goodness gracious, Sam, you're a sick man, a sick man. All right, hopefully long shots
taking
wins.
odds on how many slips he has.
As the 858 says, this long shot do be fire though. So here we go.
Thank you, 858. I appreciate that.
It's San Diego Sports 760. Hour 2 is coming up next. We have a giveaway to give away, by the way, and we'll do that in hour number 2. It's your last chance to win tickets to Aztecs, Colorado State coming up on Wednesday night. It's San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Straight Talk Wireless. The Super Bowl is set. New England will be taking on Seattle here in 2 weeks. Seattle is currently a 3.5 point favorite. It's been bet up to 4.5 on the early betting markets. Point total is set at 45.5. The Lake Show are back tonight, taking on the Bulls in Chicago. The Lakers are currently a 1.5 point favorite. That game will go at 5 o'clock per David Miniman. Austin Reeves could be making his re-debut on Wednesday against the Cavs. Don't let data limits hold you back from being the gift master in the family group chat. Switch to Straight Talk Wireless and get real unlimited data on Verizon's 5G network. Straight Talk, available at straighttalk.com or at Walmart. That was called a technical difficulty, Fletch.
It's San Diego Sports 760. It's hour number 2. Do you want to try again, or do we just roll?
Let's see. Let's see if this works.
Flex Zone.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
Not like other guys.
Sound off like you got a pair.
It's down to 2 in the chase for the Lombardi.
The Patriots will spill off their sideline in the snow in a celebration a mile high. They are headed to Santa Clara. In 2 weeks, it's Super Bowl 60. Luka Nakua slides out of bounds. No! Clock keeps moving. Nakua, flag! Seahawks win! And the Seahawks are going back to the Super Bowl.
Patriots versus Seahawks in Santa Clara. It's got to sting a bit, right, Fletch? The Aztecs leave Vegas a little richer.
Stepping back, his three-point jumper in the air is good. Taj extends the lead to double figures.
And the Lakers steal one from the Mavericks. And a look back at how Sammy measured up.
Sean O'Malley, more than 79.5 significant strikes.
I was going to ask you, are you sure about that?
Patty Pimblett, more than 2.5 total rounds.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Why not? Sure.
Evan Ingram, tight end for the Denver Broncos, more than 19.5 receiving yards.
So close I can taste it.
And Sam Darnold, more than 30 passing attempts.
There we are.
Now live from the studios of San Diego Sports 760, we get the week started inside the Flex Zone.
Let's get it going here. It's hour number 2 on San Diego Sports 760. Hey, today on this show is going to be your last chance to win a pair of tickets for San Diego State, Colorado State, Viejas Arena this upcoming Wednesday night. Those tickets will be given away within the next 30 minutes. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Aztecs, Rams tickets for later on this week. All right, let's get to it here. Hour number 2. We talked about Padres news a little bit in the first half, that there was Padres news. Let's get to it here right before the big 3 of hour number 2. Kevin Acee had an article that came out on Saturday. In that article, the open to it was literally, Yu Darvish does not plan to pitch again in the major leagues. And the headline of this article was Padres pitcher Yu Darvish poised to walk away from his contract. So those things are pretty scary if you're a Padres fan. Not totally unpredictable.
I think that's great news for the Padres.
Sure, but obviously there's a lack of starting pitching right now in the Padres organization. Now Yu Darvish had that surgery. At best, he may have been available way late in the season. But let's talk about this. So right after that article went out, Yu Darvish went to Twitter and said, "You may have seen an article, and although I'm leaning towards voiding the contract, there's still a lot that has to be talked over with the Padres. So the finer details are yet to be decided. Also, I will not be announcing my retirement yet. Right now, I'm fully focused on my rehab for my elbow, and if I get to a point where I can throw again, I will start from scratch again to compete. If once I get to that point, I feel I can't do that, then I will announce my retirement." All this to say, Yu Darvish is planning on being at some, if not all, of spring training with the San Diego Padres, doing his rehab in Peoria. So we'll see if he ever puts on a uniform again. But this is news. Like, the Padres could probably do with that $43 million. I think that's what's left on Yu Darvish's
It's kind of a shame because if they freed up that money and we're going to repurpose it to sell it, that would really help. The Padres are in that kind of range. They're talking. There's been rumors about Verlander, a couple guys who you could get in that $8 to $10 million range. The Padres, I thought, made a big move bringing back Michael King. I thought that was a big move. We talked about that. I know it's basically 3 one-year contracts, but 3 years, $75 million. You got 3 pitchers to give a lot of faith in: Nick Pivetta, Michael King, and Joe Musgrove. You really need a 4th, though, because the ideal situation for the Padres is Joe Musgrove is kind of on ice for a lot of the season, pitching sparingly, pitching when you need him, kind of bringing him along, and then he's good to go for the postseason. Ideally, you don't want him to be a bulk level starter. You want him to be kind of your back end. And then maybe if you get to the postseason and he's healthy, he becomes that ace for you. Getting another pitcher, like last year, that's what really hurt the Padres. Is Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish are your 2 highest priced pitchers, and they weren't pitching last year. So Yu Darvish at his age, probably never getting back to the Yu Darvish that we all once knew. Him freeing up his money would probably be big for the Padres, assuming that they're going to repurpose it in get new players in the future.
I would recommend going to read Kevin's articles because there's more quotes from Yu Darvish in there. Things like we heard this one at the end of last month, but he says, as far as leaving lots of money, I look at it as if it was never mine to begin with, especially considering the money that I haven't physically earned yet. I'll tell you, if he holds to that quote, Yu Darvish is a freaking unicorn in pro sports and his agent probably hates him. He also talks about Peter Seidler in here and how much it meant to him to get a World Series and how Yu Darvish feels like he failed not getting the Padres to that point to compete for a World Series. And that is the stuff that pulls at your heartstrings a little bit, especially if you've been following this team closely over the last few years, which most people listening to the show have. So it stinks that the Padres haven't been able to realize it, but also at this point, if they were to cut Yu Darvish's contract out, if they were to spend that money on bringing in maybe a different starting pitcher, maybe some younger prospects, who knows, that's a good thing for the Padres. But as of right now, that money is just kind of eating a hole in everyone's pocket and is wasted money at this point. All right, let's get to hour number 2's Big Three here, where Sammy rips through the top stories in the world of sports. Oh, we didn't even talk about the bobbleheads, Sammy. What a waste. Oh, my
what a shame. Couldn't get to the bobbleheads.
Smash the button.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
How about this from the 913? That giveaway puffer sleeveless zip-up coat is actually pretty sweet. The poncho this year is better than last year's City Connect one. All right, fine. Mason Miller's getting a bobblehead. Jackson Farrell-Merrill's getting a bobblehead. Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, and there's one more that I'm forgetting. But Fernando Tatis Jr. is also going to be getting one. They haven't revealed it yet. The rest of them are available to see. The Padres released them today. All right, Sammy, where would you like to go in sports?
Who has more to prove in the Super Bowl, Drake May or Sam Darnold?
Kind of feels like neither of them have a whole lot to prove, right? I would say Drake May and the Patriots themselves need to look like they belong in the postseason for once. Outside of that, did anyone expect these two teams at the beginning of the year to be competing for a Super Bowl? The answer is absolutely not. Did anyone expect that after the year that everyone went through last year, that it would be Sam Darnold and the Seattle Seahawks taking on Drake May and the New England Patriots, who won 3 games last year, whatever 4. It was, to be in the Super Bowl this year?
But you think that takes the pressure off them? I don't really think that takes the pressure off them. Because it's not a guarantee you're getting back here. That's why there's a lot of pressure.
Sure, but just getting to the Super Bowl is kind of a Herculean feat.
I mean, spoken like a true Niner fan. But,
oh my God!
But I mean,
my God!
If that's the way you want to look at it,
Mr.
yeah.
Who has more pressure then?
I would go Drake May.
Okay,
I would go Drake May because even though people
kind of crazy, Sam Darnold's been in the league like 9 years longer than him.
Okay, and again, the AFC. This is one of the easiest AFC playoff fields that we've seen in decades. I mean, simply, like it's only going to get harder. I know people, Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow. Does anyone expect that all 3 of them are going to be missing next season? You're not going to be playing the 26, the easiest schedule in 26 years, which the New England Patriots had. You're probably not going to be playing a Charger team with no offensive line all injured. A Houston Texans offense that was missing its top 3 weapons. And then in the AFC title game, a team without its starting quarterback because he got hurt in the week before. Not saying Drake May's not a good player, but we're talking about fortunate pass to a Super Bowl. I mean, that is one of the easiest paths you could ever think of. I think Sam Darnold has pressure in that, yeah, your division's tough. The Niners are going to be back. The Rams are going to be back, assuming Stafford's there. Chicago's getting better. Washington's going to be there. I think actually the Cowboys might be interesting next year if they get some defense. But Sam Darnold and that Seahawks team is completely young. The entire defense is young. I don't think they're going anywhere. I have real questions about whether New England, given the schedule, you're playing a first-place schedule next year. The Bills aren't going anywhere. They're in your division. Very fortunate this year. And if you don't close the deal, if you don't close the show, I think we're sitting looking at the Patriots as potentially like one Super Bowl appearance, and then they're not going to be there for a long time. So I would go Drake May. I think Drake May has a lot of pressure, and he has to play better for his team to win.
How about the fact that the Seahawks should win this game going away? Does that not put immense pressure on Sam Darnold? Like, if the Seahawks lose this game,
that's fair.
That's an indictment. The Patriots, for them to win this game, it would take perfection. It might take a tsunami hitting Lumen Field.
I don't know if they're that big of underdogs.
I think they probably should be.
Okay.
We'll see. Right. What's next?
Let's go to Aztecs pick up a big victory in Vegas over the weekend Miles Bird was fantastic, had his best game of the season. What was your biggest standout from the Aztecs on Saturday night?
We talked about it for about a week leading up to that New Mexico game, how you felt like something was starting to turn for Miles Bird, where he was kind of pushing a little too hard early in the season. He wasn't having his normal impact all over the court. He's all the way back. The way he's played over the last couple of weeks, even in the loss to Grand Canyon, he did not shoot the ball well. He really struggled from the field, but he impacted the game in every other way. In fact, he made the game-winning block, and somehow it got called a foul on Tay Simmons. So you look at Miles Bird, and this is the guy who was the Mountain West preseason player of the year. He was phenomenal against UNLV, man. They weren't even playing bad defense. Do you know that Miles Bird is the only player in the Dutcher Fisher era? So what is that, spanning 27, 28 years at this point? The only player in the Dutcher Fish era that's ever gone 5 for 5 from three-point land. And they weren't on the three-point line wide open shots. He was NBA range for a lot of them. Miles Bird was tremendous on Saturday and kind of showed you why he was the Mountain West preseason player of the year.
It was great to see them respond after that Grand Canyon game. I mean, that Grand Canyon game, we can talk about it all we want. I thought it was a BS end of the game, Fletch. I know you did as well with the call, but the call happened, and people aren't going to remember that on Selection Sunday. They're not going to go, well, the Aztecs probably should have won. It's going to be a loss for them. And for them to rebound, get a tough victory in Vegas. The Aztecs have historically played well in Vegas over the years, but still, the UNLV team has been decent at times this year. Obviously, you talked about Miles Bird there. Reese Dixon Waters with 13. I think Miles Heidi recently, 9 points, 3 of 4 shooting. He has really elevated his game. And
3 or 4 from the free throw line.
3 or 4 from the free throw line.
Miles all of a sudden can knock down a free throw.
All right,
I haven't seen that in a couple years.
Steve Nash over there from the free throw line. But the front court has not had a massive drop-off, and that was the real concern with No Magoon Guath. Are we going to see a front court that can't rebound and can't score, and it's going to be all on the guards? That hasn't been the case. I thought Miles Heidi's played well, and it was kind of cool to see Taj DeGorville get it going from the bench.
Dude, Taj was tremendous. And when you think about this, BJ Davis had zero impact on that UNLV game, and San Diego State won by 11. That's the most impressive part of the night for me.
All right, let's head to the UFC. We haven't talked about it yet. Justin Gaethje wins a bloody, great fight. Main event was fantastic, but a bloody decision. Okay, Fletch is doing it on the stream. Do you think that Paddy Pimblett was robbed?
Yes.
Or
Sorry, were you done?
Yeah. Tell us why.
He got poked in the eye 5 times in that fight. I like Justin Gaethje a lot. I think he's his fight with Khabib back in the day is one of the most entertaining UFC fights you'll ever watch. And that's how Justin Gaethje's kind of made his name in the sport. Is he might not always be the best fighter. He's going to be the most entertaining fighter. He was not better than Paddy Pimblett the other night. I'm sorry. He just wasn't. Paddy was the more skilled fighter. I thought Paddy had the better moments in the fight. What is the most memorable thing to come out of, is this 324? UFC 324. What is the most memorable thing to come out of that night? Think about it.
The
eye pokes.
That did happen a lot.
All the time. No, I think that Paddy absolutely got robbed. In fact, if you went to the official scoring, whatever, who cares? But the eye poking was outrageous.
Who cares about the official score?
Yeah. Did you see Dana's face when he put the belt around Gaethje?
Yeah, he didn't want to.
He was pissed.
Well, here's the thing. Was he robbed? No, because he won more rounds than Paddy Pimblett did.
You see the text line right now?
Yeah. Text line's wilding out right now.
913, come on.
70470. Start your message with team. Text us. All your thoughts.
Okay, let's clean this up. 913. Did Song Yadong win, Fletch? No, he did not. He lost to Sugar Sean.
No, he lost. He fought well. He won the second round.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Gaethje Pimblett fight, Pimblett earned a lot of fans with that. He was fantastic in, fought his ass off, frankly, in that match. I mean, halfway through it, and I got to give Pimblett a lot of credit because he looked like he was going down in round 2. He landed a couple of really big uppercuts. They were kind of just throwing randomly. There was not a lot of it was just an absolute brawl. My problem, though, if you had one, was to your point about the eye poke, as well as Gaethje need him in the Netherlands.
No, nut shot, dude. It was a bad one, too. And he didn't get any time to recover.
No time.
Usually you can get up to 5 minutes, can't you?
You get up to 10. At least in boxing, you get up to 10. I believe you can get up to 10 in UFC. Maybe it's 5, though. But they didn't give him any time in both of that. And the eye poke was a direct result of Gaethje then jumped all over him and almost finished him because of the eye poke. If Gaethje had won because of that, on that he had gotten a finish, then I would say he got robbed. I'm not going to say he got robbed, but I would have liked to seen the ref Herb Dean step in a little bit more and give them. But I think it was the debut. I don't think they wanted to disrupt the fight. It was a great main event overall.
It is supposed to be 5 minutes in UFC. The only problem I had with the whole broadcast was the amount of ads that were on Paramount Plus. Like, it was kind of outrageous. Dana talked about it after the fights.
Not paying
also,
that pay-per-view money now.
Yeah, he said, look, we're not charging for the fight anymore. It's $8.99 a month for events that used to cost $80 a piece. It's like they have to make money somehow too. So is the trade-off worth it? More advertisements for cheaper fights? I would think yes, but it is a little bit herky-jerky when you talk about the amount of ads that were on Paramount Plus.
Text line is not liking your Pimblett Rob take.
Man, text line
858. Wow, Fletch, worst take to date. I think Patty got absolutely worked. That was a domination. He doesn't even deserve an instant rematch for that.
You can't tell me that if it wasn't for the nut shot and the eye pokes, that's not a different fight. I would agree that if we're just taking it on face value, Gaethje won that fight, but there were factors at play there. What were we talking about with the Patriots?
Right.
Context matters.
To your point, it affected the fight. I agree with you. The eye poke and the nut shot certainly played a factor in the fact that Gaethje jumped all over him. But Pimblett did recover, and Gaethje was landing the cleaner combinations for most of the night. I'm sure the UFC was bummed. They certainly wanted Paddy Pimblett to be the champion because he's younger and more sellable for the future.
Also rooting for my boy. Paddy Pimblett has sat right here.
Well, yeah, that's what. Did you have money on Paddy Pimblett?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, I was about to say. That sounds like a take of a man who lost money on a fighter.
No, Gaethje won the fight as it was called, but I do think there should have been some punishments for getting poked in the eye 4 times. 4 times.
Yeah, they got to. Yeah, that only happens in the UFC because the gloves are open.
Although there's zero defending Patty's punch that he was throwing over the top. The little like cat smack almost.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know where he got that.
Yeah,
from.
Patty wasn't throwing enough combos together. He would like land a shot, but Gaethje was like boxing, like actually putting combos together and jumping all over him. So it looked better from a judge's
Gaethje's
perspective.
a killer, and he was fun to watch again. All right, it's San Diego Sports 760. We're going to take a quick break here. Let's get back to some of this Aztecs talk, as well as the fact that the Super Bowl is now set. That's next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2. John Schaefer's going to take over then. Hey, next Friday, the weekend, well, I guess the weekend of the Super Bowl, we're doing the big game tailgate down at K&B Bistro in Del Cerro. Get out there. 6 to 10 a.m. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch will be broadcasting there live. We got a bunch of fun games we're going to be doing because we're in classic rock now. So the music will be going, but we're going to be doing a bunch of fun games for giveaways. We have secured a 65-inch TV to give away. We have secured Def Leppard tickets to give away. We have secured Guns N' Roses tickets to give away.
Let me have those.
This is going to be the party of the century, man. Get on out to KMB Bistro, 6 to 10 a.m. next Friday. It's February 6th. Mark your calendars now. Show up on your way to work. Swing by, have a beer, whatever.
Have a drink before work. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's Friday.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Or just take the day off. Or, I don't know, maybe you got COVID or something and you want to come hang out and party. By the way, did you see COVID 2 might be a thing? Oh, I don't need to scare everybody.
Yeah,
there's something going on in the world.
Okay, we're gonna stop. Just leave that to Kogo. Okay,
Woo-wee.
stop.
Sheesh.
Do I need to dump you?
We got trees exploding in the Midwest. This is a crazy time of year, Sammy.
I hope. Yeah. All right.
Crazy time of year.
Well,
But
we're all still alive. Let's talk some sports.
Let's talk some sports. Phillip Rivers has taken himself out of consideration for the Buffalo Bills head coaching job. Phillip Rivers was in it. I don't know how seriously he or the Buffalo Bills took it. It sounds like Josh Allen wanted him to interview for the job. Josh Allen has a tremendous amount of respect for him. Phillip Rivers helped him out in one of his quarterback camps, I guess. So that is what it is. But I guess what we're going to be saying now is, will Phillip Rivers ever be a head coach in the NFL? The logical question to ask is, was Phillip Rivers doing this as a bit of a run through to see what the process was like to get hired as a head coach in the NFL?
100%.
And is this something that he actually wants to do down the line? These are the questions we can all throw around. I do think he would be a tremendous coach at this level. I also know that this is an 80-hour-a-week type of job when you're in it. And it's about 7 to 8 months per year, not just the 5 or 6 months that you're actually in season. So when we're talking about Phillip Rivers doing this, Phillip Rivers, who we know on his trio of things is it's faith, or it's family, faith, and football. Those are his things. That's what he lives his entire life by. So is he willing to sacrifice that 80 hours a week to do the football thing? And I don't know the answer to that. I truly don't. And I don't know if he knows the answer to that yet either. So moving down the line, if there's head coaching openings next year and the year after that, do you expect that Phillip Rivers will be back interviewing with other teams?
Well, I think he will. He was never going to get this job. I mean, this would be, first off, if you're Buffalo, how do you sell this to the fans? And with all due respect to Phillip Rivers, I'm a massive Phillip Rivers fan. When your goal is to get past Andy Reid, Sean Payton, all the other top quarterbacks in the AFC, Mike Vrabel, Jim Harbaugh, the great coaches in the AFC, with all due respect to Phillip Rivers, hiring Phillip Rivers, who's never done it before. He's been an amazing quarterback. But coaching high school football is a lot different than coaching professional football, and going into a job where it's not like the Raiders or the Browns, where it's like, you know what, we're going to give him a year or two, a grace period. But going to a job where if Phillip Rivers, let's say he got the job. Let's say he kept the job. He got the job. He went to the playoffs with the Buffalo Bills, won a game and lost. People view the Bills as a failure. That would be a failure of a season because you have a Maserati at quarterback, and yet it's another season. The Buffalo Bills are not appearing in a Super Bowl and winning a Super Bowl. So I didn't want Phillip Rivers to get this job. Like, this is completely setting him up to fail. I would like to see Phillip Rivers around the game. I'd like to see him coaching, but jumping from high school to professional, just because you know the game of football, are two very different things. Managing a team, dealing with example, Nick Sirianni, dealing with AJ Brown, popping off on Twitch live streams about wanting the ball more. That is not stuff he had to deal with when he was a quarterback, because he was just the quarterback, versus being a head coach. I'm glad he didn't get this job, removed himself from the consideration. I'd like to see him as an offensive coordinator somewhere, and then down the road getting a head coaching opportunity.
Now, the real question is, where the hell do the Bills go from here? Because you think about it, and they fire Sean McDermott after John Harbaugh already had a new job. And that felt like the most logical choice for me, or maybe Mike Tomlin. And if I was the Bills right now, the Pagulas, I would be throwing everything and the kitchen sink at Mike Tomlin, trying to get him to reconsider going to TV for a year, because that's the type of guy you need in this organization. Because what are their options now? Cliff Kingsbury? It sounds like Mike McDaniel is with the Chargers officially now. I don't know if there's wiggle room in the contract he signed this morning.
No, it's official.
It's officially official.
858 said Bills need to hire Daboll and call it a day.
See, is that a good move for the Bills? You can make the argument for it. Brian Daboll does get credited with taking Josh Allen from the guy that everyone thought was going to be a bust, the guy who had the cannon arm but no accuracy, and turning him into the Josh Allen that is there today. But Brian Dable didn't exactly, I guess he got things turned around a little bit in New York, but he got fired from that too.
But I think there's an interesting thing about this job is you would think Buffalo would be like the best job. You don't have to develop a quarterback. You have a superstar quarterback, an MVP at the quarterback spot. It's interesting how we haven't seen, there's 3 jobs left. It's the Raiders, Browns, and the Bills. Now the Bills obviously fired McDermott late after winning a playoff game, but Mike McDaniel going back to the Chargers, and he also withdrew his name from consideration from the Browns and the Bills. I wonder if this Pagula situation and the fact that Brandon Beane got promoted is giving people some pause about, do I really want to be the Bills? Because it's the same thing. Like, McDermott was a good head coach. You're going to have Allen and Cook who are going to put up crazy numbers. But if Beane is still the GM, are you developing a defense? Are you developing wide receivers? If you're a head coach, if you're a potential head coach, I think you look at that and have some caution. It's like, again, lipstick on a pig. You got Josh Allen, but is it that great of a job as we were looking at? This is why I thought Baltimore was better all along.
I'm curious who ends up getting that job. Do you think it's Cliff Kingsbury, Brian Dable?
I think Dable, they're going to go. It worked when he was there.
God, Dable's going to get that job, and they're going to flame out in the second round of the postseason again. Interesting text from the 858. Felipe Rios is going to be the head coach of the Mexico City Jaguars in 2030. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. I'll be honest. A lot of Phillips kids will be in college by that point. Maybe he's done doing the dad thing, and he wants to move over to coaching.
Done doing the dad thing.
Felipe Rios. I don't hate that at all.
The Mexico City Jaguars got a little ring to it.
I don't hate that. I also don't hate San Diego Jaguars.
Well, obviously, it'd be amazing if San Diego got a football team back.
T-Law,
this city would go crazy.
San
By the way, it would be so funny to watch the Chargers get iced out, because if San Diego got a football team, then the Chargers would be relegated to the portion of LA that wants to support them.
Yeah. Which is nobody. So San Diego Sports 760. We are your home for sports in San Diego. We love to be it. And right now we have tickets to give away, Sammy. So a pair of tickets on the line right now. San Diego State, Colorado State coming up Wednesday night. If you want to win those, Sammy, what caller number you want to give these to?
Let's do caller number 12.
How about caller number 12? You're going to the game on Wednesday night. 877-767-4760. You're listening to San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new Biggie Deals. Seahawks, Patriots going down 2 weeks from yesterday. Seahawks are currently a 4.5-point favorite after being bet up. The line opened as Seattle favored by 3.5. The Lake Show are back tonight in Chicago, taking on the new look Bulls headed by Kobe White. The Lakers are currently a 1.5-point road favorite, and John Morant and Giannis will be missing the next couple weeks until after the trade deadline. A lot of rumors they could be on the move. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie Deals at $4, $6, and $8. The new Biggie Deals are bigger and biggier than ever. For a pretty Biggie deal, got to be Wendy's. U.S. price participation may vary.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. John Schaefer is going to take over then. We got our buddy Jay Silves in the chat saying Sanders making the Pro Bowl is comical, but the list was short. So
that was insane.
This was on one of our big threes that we didn't end up getting to earlier today. But yeah, if you missed it, Shedeur Sanders will be making the AFC Pro Bowl list in place of Drake May. And I guess when you look down the list, makes sense. Obviously, they couldn't go to Patrick Mahomes because A, he didn't have the year for it, and B, he's injured.
Oh, he had a better year than Shedeur Sanders.
Well, I don't know, Sammy, but Shedeur is a Pro Bowler, and that will never be taken off. It adds to a list of very funny list of Pro Bowl quarterbacks. You know, Stu Huntley was a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah, it's just it's kind of sad. Like it's the Pro Bowl is such a, as someone who loves NFL football, it's literally one of my favorite things. The Pro Bowl is so relevant. It's just it is by far the worst of all the All-Star games, and that's saying a lot because the NBA All-Star game is really bad, and so is the MLB All-Star game, and all of them. It's just, I would much rather what they've been doing, which is them do the games like the dodgeball stuff like that. Like that's more fun than doing a.
You don't even need the flag football game, right? Just do the rest of it,
guys. Like, what are we doing here?
Just do the long drive competition with the linemen. That's fun. Do the best catch or whatever that Justin Jefferson did that twirling thing with. That's kind of fun.
Well, I think also the Pro Bowl aspect, like people used to look at
Pro Bowl used to be a big deal.
Right. It used to be.
Talk to Nick Hardwick about the Pro Bowl he made. It means something to him.
Well, and the Pro Bowl used to be like how we would assess not MVPs, but MVPs, Super Bowl, everything that we would measure quarterbacks or players with. A amount of Pro Bowl nominations used to mean something. The problem, though, is now it's become a popularity contest. No way, even though Shedeur Sanders at times showed some promise, no way he should be a Pro Bowl starter, but it's a fan vote, and this is what happens because Shedeur Sanders, a very popular player in the league, he's just not a great player in the league.
Yeah, it's a little outrageous to me, but the Pro Bowl's meaning kind of went away. I don't know. This was around 2015 or something, but it used to be like a thing in Hawaii that it was an honor to go to and be a Pro Bowler, and it was literally used on like Hall of Fame resumes. Was the amount of times you were a Pro Bowler. Now it's anyone can be a Pro Bowler, and it's so many guys defer it. So many guys just say, nah, I don't really care about it. Don't worry about it. That it ends up going to guys like Shedeur Sanders, which is crazy to me. How many people got snubbed this year that should have been on the list before Shedeur Sanders?
Yeah, it's just
seriously
the Pro Bowl. I don't even know. I 100% honest. I don't look at Pro Bowl rosters.
40 quarterbacks this year who probably were better than Shedeur Sanders. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me, but it is what it is. And our buddy Jay Silv saying those Hawaii Pro Bowls were the days. Yeah, it was also fun to watch. Like, there was a time where the Pro Bowl, you literally just got the best players in football. They went out to Hawaii for a week. They spent there with their family. And then the week between the Super Bowl and the championship games, you actually had something that was entertaining. And no, guys didn't try to kill each other like they do on a week in, week out basis. But it was still something. It was a big event you could look forward to. Now it's nothing. And man, it kind of stinks. For what we're hoping for. All right, Aztecs basketball, they get the big win out in Las Vegas. I don't know how many of you got to watch a lot of this game. Obviously, there was other stuff going on in Saturday, but it was a huge win for San Diego State on national TV, which there have been moments in the past where that was a situation where San Diego State wouldn't step up to the expectation. And the expectation going into that game from KenPom was that they would win by 6 points. San Diego State goes in and wins by 11. They weathered a second half run by UNLV. UNLV, who's one of the most athletic teams in the conference next to San Diego State, didn't look like they belonged on the same court as the Aztecs at times. And a lot of that was Miles Byrd. A lot of that was Taj DeGorville, who stepped up and made some huge plays. And a lot of that was San Diego State. You could almost see putting the Grand Canyon game behind them and stepping up and going out to get a really tough, big-time road win in conference play and staying alone atop the Mountain West Conference. that was huge for the momentum. That was huge for the vibes, as our guy Jim Russell would say. That was a great win for San Diego State on national TV in a big moment.
Well, and to the point that you just made about flushing the Grand Canyon game, that's the kind of game that losing that could snowball. That was a real concern. It's like you lose a heartbreaker, a game you probably shouldn't have lost. Well, I mean, it's hard to say that. You were almost about to get blown out and then give the Aztecs all the credit in the world for coming back in that game against Grand Canyon. You lose a heartbreaker, obviously some tough officiating calls not going your way at the end of the game. But then to bounce back on the road, they'd have lost to UNLV, we'd be sitting here going, all right, well, that whole 7-0 start to Mountain West Conference play kind of goes out the window because you would have had 2 straight road losses. Then you would have been expecting you have to go beat Utah State on the road. Then you have to go beat New Mexico. The UNLV win gives you a little bit of leeway because you have some tough road tests upcoming. But again, it was great seeing Miles Berg get it going, Reese Dixon Waters, Taj DeGorville off the bench. And I said it a little bit ago, the front court has not had a massive drop-off. Obviously, you want Magoon out there, but the front court has stepped up between Farrell Compton and Miles Heide. I think they're kind of underrated players on the team. And they don't
play of Tay Simmons. He's had the highest plus minus on the entire team since Magoon's been out.
Tay Simmons. So this could have easily, if you would have told me after the Players Era tournament, Magoon Guath went out, it'd be like, oh no, like literally who's rebounding the basketball? Where's the production coming from down low? I think the biggest change in this team from a month ago is the fact the front court has been playing so much better ball despite not having one of your best players on the team. Really, really good win for the boys on Saturday.
One more nugget on that game. We talk about the frustrations a lot of the time being a West Coast team and the West Coast bias that goes into the selection committee, all those things. This was the game to win and look as good as they looked in, because when we talk about, there's no one in the country that watches all 133 games every single Saturday, right? These national TV windows, which San Diego State has another one coming up in a couple weeks. I promise you, this was one of those games that the selection committee A was watching live and B got to watch the entirety of, because it was a good start time. It was a 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Right.
Start time.
At 8 o'clock Tuesday night showdown against Grand Canyon
on CBS Sports Network.
A lot of people in New York probably aren't tuning into that game unless you're a diehard college basketball fan. So
this one got watched by everybody. It was a good time to have a great game, and that's exactly what San Diego State did. Now you got Colorado State this Wednesday night. Colorado State has struggled so far in league, but they have a very capable team. And man, this would be one of those anchors that you cannot afford to lose, especially at home. And then on Saturday, it's the biggie, the one we've had circled for a long time. On January 31st, San Diego State, Utah State in Logan on the campus of Utah State is another national TV game, big time on the road. Great environment at Utah State, which is something that Vegas doesn't really have. They don't have a great fan base out in Vegas. That game against Utah State is going to be massive for San Diego State. All right, we'll take a quick break here. We will close this thing out on the other side. But first, I want to tell you all about Valley View Casino and Resort, baby. So over the weekend, I was there. Over the weekend, I was sitting down at a blackjack table, and I was collecting up the little slips that I get to go enter on January 31st at the Cash is King event. Valley View Casino and Hotel rewarding table game players every single month during their Cash is King event. Earn entries all month long through table gameplay by using your Players Club card. And with all your favorite table games in both the high limit and low limit rooms, earning entries is easy and fun. Then you join Valley View Casino on Saturday, January 31st at their main stage bar and grill for this month's Cash is King giveaway. $10,000 in cash will be given away to 45 guests all night long, with drawings to win $200 every hour starting at 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock. Plus at 10:30, there's going to be a grand prize drawing of $400 each for 5 lucky guests. Don't miss out on the Cash is King event on January 31st from 7 to 10:30 only at Valley View Casino and Hotel. Plus, right now, you got to join the Players Club because you're going to receive over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly at Valley View Casino, including $10 of more play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, which I just ate at this weekend. Whew, that burger was good. And more and more and more. The more you use your Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn, like complimentary dining, free hotel stays, luxury gifts, and invitations to exclusive events and more. So don't miss out. Visit Valley View Casino and Hotel on January 31st for the Cash is King event and join the Ultimate Players Club to get over $200 in free offers today. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. And let me tell you, you got to try that Austin burger. Get out to Valley View Casino and Hotel now. It's San Diego Sports 760. We will close this thing out on the other side. San Diego Sports 760 for a final time here. It's Ben Fletcher and Sammy Long. Sammy, who won those Aztecs tickets?
Elizabeth.
What up,
One
Elizabeth?
Or Betsy. I don't know. She had a different name. No, different email and thing, but she was fantastic on the thing. She was very excited to go. Thank you for listening to the show.
We're pumped for you, Elizabeth/Betsy, and hope to see you. Sammy and I will both be out there Wednesday night getting you ready for Aztecs basketball. All right, some comments to close out the show. Jay Silv saying Hawaii Pro Bowls were the days. Those were fun. Now the Pro Bowl sucks. Lori on YouTube saying, hi guys, sad about my Rams, but glad for Sam Darnold. Interesting little juxtaposition there, but you're a more mature sports fan than I, Lori. Congratulations on that.
Lori, yeah, your Rams should be back in the picture next year.
I'm telling you, Colin said it earlier. I think I disagree with Colin. He said that was the best quarterback performance he's ever seen from a losing team in the postseason. Talking about Matthew Stafford. I would probably give it to, was Tom Brady threw for 500 yards and lost the Super Bowl, didn't he? Against the Eagles?
Yeah. Jalen Hurts against the Chiefs the first time. He was great.
So,
but he had the fumble 6, so I guess maybe not.
There's been some better performances out of quarterbacks on the losing side, but Matthew Stafford was phenomenal yesterday. Is the history of the NFL different had Puka Nacua actually gotten out of bounds?
Oh, the Hail Mary?
I'd like to see the Hail Mary.
I wanted to see it.
Sean McVay probably had something drawn up. It may not have been a Hail Mary. It may have been some sort of hook and ladder situation.
I would have thrown it right at Tariq Woolen and saw what happened.
Same. Tariq Woolen made so many mistakes in that game. He's an excellent cornerback / safety, but he made some mistakes in that game. All right, Rich McGuire on YouTube saying, I'm hoping Utah State game is going to be a whiteout. I'll be in Utah next weekend and we'll wear my Aztecs red jersey.
Hell yeah, Rich.
To stand out. Represent, Rich. Get on out there. I have heard Utah State's tickets this year have been through the roof expensive, so hopefully
there's nothing to do out there.
Hopefully you can find Utah this time of year. Everything to do is in Utah this time of year. It's the best snow in the world, Sammy.
Utah is underwhelming.
You a big snowboarder, skier, or anything?
I wish I was. I'm not. I never was a big balance guy. I surfed one time, was not very good at that. Never really had
to snowboard. Since I broke my leg, I have no interest in
trying. You used to snowboard, really?
Yeah.
Where at? Big Bear?
Well, growing up, it was a place called Dodge Ridge, which was closest to Merced, and it's not a great mountain, but it's home mountain. You know, it's like your home golf course growing up is always going to be your favorite golf course, even if it sucks. Same thing with Dodge Ridge. It's not a good mountain, but man, we had a lot of fun.
You were snowboarder or skier?
Grew up skiing, switched to snowboarding in college because my buddy had a snowboard I could borrow.
I'm genuinely curious. What is easier? Skiing's easier, right?
See, I haven't skied since I was like 12 years old, but it was pretty easy when I was younger. Snowboarding, you're spending the first 36 hours on your butt if you try to snowboard. Okay. And it's like the learning curve is steep. Like it's hard to figure out the balance of it and how you're supposed to carve and go back and forth. But once you get snowboarding, I don't think snowboarding is very hard.
Did you see Shaun White, local SC legend, and oh my God, what's the big park in New York?
In New York?
Yeah.
Central Park?
Central Park, yeah. He was not skiing. He was snowboarding today. He did a jump over Shane Gillis. Did you see that?
That's kind of rad. I did not see that. That's
look it up.
Shaun White's awesome, dude. Shaun White brought snowboarding to the Olympics and made it cool. And now I can't wait for the Olympics this year.
913 says Sammy only does shalom skiing.
That's all he's worried about.
That's the only thing I do.
Damn it. That was the joke I was about to say, 913. I got logged out of the text line, but that's a great joke. So yes, Sammy's worried about shalom skiing on a regular basis. Do we have any other texts to wrap out the show?
We do, but the Pro Bowl 619 fastest man in the NFL Pro Bowl competitions was Peak TV.
That was cool.
That was very cool. 858 number. All pro selections always have been more important, and now just even more with the joke that the Pro Bowl has become. It's very true. It's very true. Like all pro selections really mean something, and the Pro Bowl is really a popularity contest. Even though the NBA All-Star game sucks, like All-Star nods do matter. Like you would look at that comparing guys' careers, but it is a shame the Pro Bowl is just the Pro Bowl. It's as it always has been.
All-Star selections in the NBA. I know All-Pro is the bigger signifier, but isn't there something about Supermax contract eligibility based on All-Star seasons?
Right, you get direct getting on All-Pro teams in All-Star selections, but really it's All-Pro teams. If you make the first team, you can get even more money on Supermax. So yeah, it means a lot to guys to make All-Pro teams.
All right. Well, the NFL Pro Bowl sucks, as signified by the fact that Shedeur Sanders will be in the NFL Pro Bowl. And our buddy Rich going to that Utah State game, I would say as many Aztec fans that could possibly get out there, like having that time slot. It's a 10 a.m. start. It's on national TV. is such a big opportunity and moment for San Diego State Aztecs, especially in the era that we're in right now, where as many Aztec fans that can get out there, like I think there might have been more Aztec fans at UNLV than there were UNLV fans.
Right, because everyone wants to go to Vegas.
There's a couple thou Aztec fans.
I was on with John for an hour after our show, and I was telling him that you and I were both jealous that we were not invited out there.
You know what John did in Vegas? Nothing. In fact, right before we handed off to John Schaefer,
I was gonna have you tell the story.
Line up his text line today and troll him for this. If you were watching the Aztecs game on TV, you saw Michael Chandler was interviewed at halftime at the scores desk. If you don't know who Michael Chandler is, you probably should. He's one of the best UFC fighters of all time. Sammy and I talked about him a lot on Friday because his name's coming up in the news again because he's not going to be fighting Conor McGregor at the White House event, whatever. John Schaefer literally was less than 20 feet away from Michael Chandler for most of the game. And I texted John and I said, get a picture with Michael Chandler. It'll up your street cred. And John responded and said, who's that? And then
you explained and he's like, oh, okay, cool,
and John
whatever.
Said, never heard of him. I hope he's doing well. One picture, John, your street cred skyrockets.
Can you imagine John doing a little face off with Michael Chandler, like one of those pictures just standing next to him?
Thank you. By the way, John Schaefer is taller than Michael Chandler. You could have made that look really cool.
Michael Chandler better look out.
All right. Well, John Schaefer's coming up next. So if you'd like to troll him, you know the number 70470. Start your message with the word team. We will see you tomorrow. We got Aztecs, Wyoming. I think tickets coming up for you on the show tomorrow, plus a lot more goodies. Bye.